The holiday season is here, which means Black Friday is upon us. Cyber Monday is right around the corner. And yes, it's time for you to give gifts to your loved ones, if you believe in that sort of thing. And what better gift to give to Dragon Ball fans than Dragon Ball stuff? So, with this video, I present Geekdom's Dragon Ball Holiday Shopping Guide for the Dragon Ball fan nearest and dearest to your heart. Hey Super Tubers, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and spread the word about the channel, and find me on these social media platforms. Now for this video, I'm going to focus mostly on the domestic releases of Dragon Ball products, not so much the stuff that you can buy on CD Japan. I mean, there's tons of stuff that you can import from Japan, but I want to focus mostly on the core Dragon Ball products that you should own if you're a Dragon Ball fan, or that you should give to those who are Dragon Ball fans. And first I want to start off with the manga. A lot of people have asked me, Danny, which version of the manga do I read? There's so many different releases. Well, of course, the ideal release would be to get the Japanese manga, but unfortunately, most of us can't read Japanese. So the next best option is, of course, Viz. Now, the two primary releases for the manga you can go out and get right now are the Viz Big Editions and the 3-in-1 editions. The Viz Big Editions and the 3-in-1s both have pros and cons, and I'm going to tell you what they are right now, and then you can choose to purchase whichever one you think is best. Now, Super JAYAIN recommends purchasing the 3-in-1s, and if you go to any bookstore like Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, they've got the 3-in-1s, and they're basically mid-sized books, kind of small, that have 3 manga chapters. Sometimes they have more than 3 on special occasions crammed in there. They are reprints of the original white Viz releases, and the red ones for Dragon Ball. So what you're getting is a reprint of the original releases, and they're fine. The only con I can think of with these, there are 2 major cons. Number 1, the paper is a little bit thin, a little bit cheap. So sometimes if you're reading the manga, you can actually see through to the other side, which is kind of cheap, but I mean, that's honestly the truth. And the other con is that these are completely in black and white and do not feature the colored chapters. Now, for those who don't know, when Dragon Ball was first running in Shonen Jump, the manga actually had a few chapters that were colored in from Toriyama. There were a few chapters throughout the manga that had Toriyama's color pen on it, and you can always go to KANZENSHUU and read their manga guide so you can know which ones are colored and which ones aren't. Well, for the purposes of that release, there's no color, but they are more uncut than the Viz Big. And then we go to the Viz Big. The Viz Big is a little bit more edited. The scene in Dragon Ball where you see Bulma's tits has been omitted from the Viz Big releases. And you can tell that they're the Viz Big ones because on the side they say Viz Big. And it's, of course, the 3-in-1s. It's like the 3-in-1s, 3 chapters into 1, sometimes 4. But these are bigger and the paper quality is better and they retain the color chapters. But they are edited. Not to mention that the spines are very, very easy to break, so you got to be really careful with them. Those are the 2 kind of main ones. Now, if you were to ask me which one should I own for the future, unfortunately, we don't have everything yet, but one thing I would highly recommend if you are really wanting to get my personal favorite version of the manga is the Dragon Ball full colored releases. As of this video, we only have volumes 1, 2, and 3, which is the Vegeta Saga, out. These are full color, high quality paper, better translations. They're my favorite way to read the manga. Now, as of right now, all we have is the first 3 volumes of the Dragon Ball Z portion. Coming up next year, I believe in February, Viz is finally going to release the Frieza Saga. So they are going to be printing out future versions of the story very, very soon, but right now the only ones you can get is just the Vegeta Saga, which is a good start, really. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, okay, they've got the Z portion, what about Dragon Ball? Unfortunately, Viz has not released the full-color Dragon Ball volumes, you know, the original story when Goku was a kid. They have not released those at all. Is through Japanese digital release. The Japanese did not even release those in actual like paperback book form. The only way you can get them is digitally. And that sucks, and I'm kind of bummed out about that because I really would love to have the entire series full color. like so I can actually hold it, but no, the only way to get it is digital, and of course it's in Japanese. I wanted to read it in English, but what can you do? So full color though for the Z portion to me is the best way to go, and if you want the uncut experience, get the 3-in-1s, but if you want the color chapters, like I said, get the Viz Big. Now let's move on. The anime. Which version of the anime should I watch? Alright, so unfortunately the two best ways to watch the anime are either out of print or discontinued. The Dragon boxes, which are completely out of print, you gotta spend like $400 on each one or something like that. Well, for a couple of them. Way too expensive for a lot of you guys, and I don't blame you one bit, but they are the best way to watch the series. Original Pony Canyon Toei Masters, 4:3 aspect ratio, Japanese and English version, Funimation redone dub from 2005, original Japanese. Very, very good release. The best release. They come with Dragon books, but again, they're out of print. Very hard to find. Good look on eBay. You might find them. It's going to cost you some money. That's the best way to watch it. The second best way to watch it is by picking up the Funimation level sets. But there's one problem. The only level sets they came out with were for the first story arc, episodes 1 through 34. It doesn't even have the last Vegeta Saga episode. So those were some fantastic releases. They were 4:3 Blu-ray quality. They were Blu-rays. Blu-rays with the correct colors and the correct saturation. But unfortunately, Funimation discontinued those due to them not making enough money versus how much they cost to produce. So instead, Funimation put out the other Blu-rays, which are the 9-volume Blu-rays. Personally, I am not a fan of these, but most people can't afford the Dragon boxes. I was one of the lucky ones that purchased the Dragon boxes when they first came out, and they were $35 on Right Stuff, but now they are ridiculously expensive. So the second best way to watch the series, if you can't afford the Dragon boxes, is to get the Blu-rays. They're 16:9. The colors are a little bit weird. The blacks are too thick. The restoration process was really, really poor, but it is the best way legally to have it. And of course, you can also sign up for Funimation.com and watch Dragon Ball there, as well as Hulu. Hulu has every Dragon Ball episode. You can watch it start to finish. For Z, though, that's kind of what you got to get. Now, as far as Dragon Ball goes, most fans already have the blue bricks. They are a decent release. However, a better release is the original 2-disc editions. However, these are very difficult to find. They're not in stores anymore. You can find them online pretty cheap. They are better than the blue bricks significantly. They have the Japanese title cards. They have a better structure to them, but they're missing the first volume. So again, it's never perfect with Dragon Ball, so really I would recommend most casual fans just pick up the blue bricks until we get Dragon Ball Dragon boxes, if we ever do. Same thing with the Dragon Ball movies. The Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z movies, you can buy the 4-packs if you want. Those are okay. They also have the Blu-ray editions. There's tons of releases. The Blu-rays for the movies are pretty decent, I will say that. Of course, Funimation claimed to have the movie Dragon boxes, but we haven't seen them out yet. But as far as what's out there, the Blu-rays for the films are fine. The best releases would probably be the original singles. And again, these are no longer in stores, but you can always scour through eBay to get them. Either way, though, it depends on the kind of fan that you are. Do you really care that much about getting the best ones, or is just okay ones fine? Just please stay away from the orange bricks. Don't support them anymore. Get the Blu-rays at the very least. Last but not least, I want to talk about video games. Now, every Dragon Ball fan should already own Xenoverse. If you don't own it, go out and get it. The 3 big games that are out right now for purchase is Dokkan Battle, which is an Android/iPhone game. Very, very fun. You can also pick up Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden on the 3DS, a 2D fighting game, which is now adding new features, so that's worth checking out. But of course, Xenoverse is the kingfish of Dragon Ball games right now. Now, if you're looking to go a little bit old school, I want to throw a couple of titles at you that you may have or may not have heard of before or played. First of all, go back and try out Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. I was a huge fan of this game. It is an unfinished game. They only went up to the Cell Saga, but the graphics in this game are incredible. The fighting system is amazing. The story mode is so much fun. It's like a hyped up version of the old Budokai games. I had a really fun time playing this game. It is one of my favorite Dragon Ball games. And another title that I think that a lot of people are going to sleep on, but I feel you have to have it as a Dragon Ball fan. It's on the Wii. Get Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo. What an amazing game. It is not a fighting game. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up platformer. Old school as shit. So much fun. You play as Goku and you start off in the early Red Ribbon Army arc and you fight Murasaki the Ninja. You fight all the Red Ribbon Army members and then you end, of course, with the big fight on King Piccolo. There's not a lot of games that cover Dragon Ball, and I think that's one of the ones that needs to be played, and I think it's been unfairly slept on by a lot of the community, so check that game out. All of these products can be found on Amazon or at your local store. I hope I helped clear up some misconceptions and some confusion about the manga and in the anime as well. And I hope everybody has a great holiday and give to your fellow Dragon Ball fan. That's what we're all here to do. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys down the road.